Good morning from the Eco Center. We decided to come inside for story time today. It was pouring rain about 10 minutes ago. We're still lucky to be living and working on Okanagan Sea Land First Nations. And we will have a beautiful afternoon. The sun might come out again. So today we're going to talk about migration. And migration is a natural phenomenon that there's a lot of animals, from the teeniest insects to the gigantic whales, that migrate. And every year they're looking for food, shelter as the weather changes, or to mate. And mating opportunities, like the kokanee fish that we just saw coming up Mission Creek, and all of the landlocked salmon from Okanagan Lake or the different lakes around the Okanagan. So they are pushing their endurance when they're migrating often. The one that migrates the farthest is the Arctic tern. So they have 71,000 kilometers round trip. In its lifetime, it might fly 2 million kilometers, about the moon and back 2.5 times. So they start way up north in the Arctic. They have a little fuel stop, and then they fly south to the Antarctic, and then they'll follow the winds north in the springtime. So that's the Arctic tern. Really pretty bird. You might see them if you're up north or out east, PEI or Quebec and Newfoundland. One of the other ones we might see here is the monarch butterfly. Can you see that, Nicole? Mm-hmm. Nicole's behind the camera today. So the monarch does about 6,000 kilometers round trip, and if you're a half a gram flying to Mexico, takes everything you have. So it's a special generation of monarchs that in Canada, when they emerge in August and September, they live 6 times longer than their grandfathers and grandmothers. They put all their energy into creating their fat stores, and that allows them to fly all the way to the forests in central Mexico. So they are an endangered species, but you can help them by planting milkweed, which is the only source of food for their caterpillars.
It's hard to think of a butterfly as having a fat store.
I know, half a gram of fat. So the caribou are a northern population. You might see them in the Yukon, and these are the barren ground caribou that travel 4,800 kilometers round trip. They're pretty important food for they're prey for the bears, and they will follow as the weather and as they find places to breed. So if you go up to the Yukon, you might see some of these caribou. So I have 2 books I'm reading today. The first one's kind of a funny book, Bluebird and Wiggles. And it's by Derek Anderson and Simon and Schuster Books for young readers. Bluebird and Wiggles were the best of friends. They played together all summer long. But summer was going away. The leaves were falling, the grass was turning brown, and all the birds in the north woods were heading south. Bluebird would have to leave soon. "Hey, Bluebird," squeaked the Mo the Crow. "You'd better come now or you'll freeze your feathers." Mo was right. So Bluebird went to pack up. Bluebird was sorting through his things when he discovered a giant box of art supplies he'd forgotten about. He suddenly got an idea. "Wiggles," said Bluebird, "we can stop everything from changing. We can make it summer again." "Then you can stay?" said Wiggles. "If it's still summer, I can," said Bluebird. So the two of them got busy. Wiggles gathered the fallen leaves, and Bluebird flew them into the trees, where he trapped them back onto the branches. He taped them back onto the branches. "There now, the leaves will stay in the trees," said Bluebird, "just like summer." Next, Bluebird and Wiggles mixed the perfect shade of green paint and then used it to color the grass green. "That's how the grass should look," said Bluebird, "just like summer." Wiggles drew bright flowers on the construction paper. Bluebird cut them out, and the two of them glued the flowers all around the woods. "Flowers should always be in full bloom," said Bluebird, "just like summer." Finally, Bluebird and Wiggles painted a giant yellow sun and fluffy white clouds. They used string to hang them in the trees. "Now the sun will keep on shining," said Bluebird, "just like summer." Bluebird and Wiggles climbed down to admire their new summer. But when they got down to the ground, it wasn't summer at all. The leaves had fallen again, the grass had been trampled, the paper flowers had disappeared, and even the string they'd used to hang the sun and cloud were gone. "What happened?" said Bluebird. "Where did our summer go?" asked Wiggles. So the two friends went off to find where their summer went. They found the rabbits using their tape to make snowshoes for the coming winter. Summer was going away. The bears were using their leftover paint to put a fresh coat on the cave walls before settling in for their naps. Summer was going away. The squirrels were using their paper flowers to make warm quilts. Summer was going away. The birds were using their string to tie up boxes and suitcases before heading south. Summer was gone. Bluebird and Wiggles couldn't fool the other animals, and they couldn't fool the forest. Winter was coming. Bluebird didn't want to leave, but he couldn't wait any longer. So he packed his suitcase, said goodbye to his dear friend Wiggles, and set out on his long flight south. Anybody seen any birds with suitcases this week?
Oh, sorry, Allison.
Bluebird and Wiggles never once forgot about each other. They wrote letters, laughed on the phone, and they thought of each other often. And even though they couldn't stop the woods from changing, nothing could keep the friends apart forever. So let's learn about a few other migrating animals, and it's called Going Home. And this is by Marianne Burks and illustrated by Jennifer DeRubio. And it's by Dawn Publications. It's called Going Home, The Mystery of Animal Migration. Can you see the book there?
Mm-hmm.
You can see some of the feet of who we will meet as we go through the book. Going home, we feel the urge to go. It's time for us to travel on. It's something we just know. Many of us look for food, others find a mate, and when the weather starts to change, there is no time to wait. Slippery pages. Going home, where I need to be. Somehow I will paddle on, swimming endlessly. From the ocean I will crawl, up the shore, laying eggs on a beach where I've been before. So we've got some turtles in Canada that hatch from the eggs and the mother buries on a sandy place. Even the turtles in our park, that's what they do. They put their eggs in a sandy place, then the turtles hatch. But during the winter, they actually go down into the pond. These ones scurry into the ocean where they live for many years. When the female is ready to lay eggs, she usually swims back to the same beach where she was born. Going home, dancing in the sky. Waking from our winter sleep, it's time for us to fly. We rested in our family tree, filling every space, but now it's time to travel on and find another place. So we talked about the monarch a few minutes ago, and they migrate south to keep warm. They rest together in a semi-dormant state, often on the same trees their ancestors occupied the year before. And then in the spring, they'll start heading north. In the fall time, it's the same monarch that'll go all the way south. In the springtime, it's actually generation after generation that sense their way all the way north, where we have planted milkweed for them. Going home, I can find my way, navigating towards the coast where I used to stay. When it was cold, I had to move. I floated near the shore until I found a warm lagoon where I could eat some more. Manatees migrate as water temperatures change. If the water is too cold, they will die. They often follow the same routes that their parents did, chewing on vegetation along the way. Going home, I feel the time is near. I'm headed where I lay my eggs. I do it every year. I need to cross the wide blue sea, and then I'll eat my fill. Rapidly I beat my wings and use my slender bill. So this is a ruby-throated hummingbird traveling between their winter and summer homes over the Gulf of Mexico, and we've got some on the west coast that do the same. So when they reach land, they drink nectar from the flowers. We know about these ones. So this one is a salmon that goes out to the ocean, but the ones that we have in Mission Creek come from the lake. Going home, swimming wild and free to rivers that are cool and clear from salty sea. I leap, I splash, I charge upstream, swimming on and on. I have to reach my place of birth. It's where I go to spawn. Going home, looking down below. The season's here, the path is clear, and we're all set to go. Honking high in the sky, flying in a V, we soar together in a flock, saving energy. So you can look for those geese way up in the sky, flying in a V, heading out to where it's a little bit warmer for them. Going home, moving on our way, heading for some icy seas from a nice warm bay. Our babies swim beside us, staying close to shore, traveling up the coastline 5,000 miles or more. So the whales migrate as well. going home, listening to the sounds. Our thundering herd is setting out to our vast calving grounds. The journey spans 2,000 miles, but we're born to run. We're on the treeless tundra now and feel the Arctic sun. So the caribou gather in huge herds in winter forests where there's protection and there's lichen for them to eat. And in the spring, they move northward to the tundra, and that's where they give birth to their young. And here's our Arctic tern again. Going home, I have the longest way. I travel all around the globe to see the light of day. I'm always moving north and south. I really love to fly. I nest up in the Arctic and dive for food supply. Going home, I never use the sky. I flap my wings in water, and that's how I fly. My mate will keep our baby warm while I feed in the sea, and then I'll waddle miles on ice to find my family. So these are some of the maps of these animals. The salmon coming from the ocean into the waters in the Okanagan. And the whales moving up and down the coast. And the caribou moving up and down north of us. All these animals. Antarctica is a busy place this time of year, or a little bit later when the snow is. Going home, by land, by sea, by sky. Our journey back from here to there is still a mystery. We have to move from place to place. You know the reasons now. Our genius is to know the way, and yours is to wonder how. Thank you, boys and girls, for watching our stories, and I believe James is back next week. Stay dry today and enjoy the fall leaves and colors.